to just be a quick update video showing you my all my trees, how they're doing right now. Everything is growing. Most everything is growing really good right now. Warm, humid. It's probably perfect. I would assume it's perfect weather for most of these trees. But you can see back there the weeping willow that I have kind of neglected for the last year. I was going to do something with it at the end of the summer. All I did was trimmed it back. Then the spring I was going to repot it, so I got to get it repotted. I got some soil components and I'm going to do a video on that soon. We're going to repot it and cut it way back. Well, there's actually 3 ones in there, but the biggest one is the one you can see the most in there. But as you can see, everything is real green and going good. I'll show you some close-ups of stuff that we... Here is my... Let's see, get it focused. Here is my skyflower. That has not been touched since the winter. And that thing grows out like crazy. You can see, and this year it actually... I think if I want it to flower, I'm going to have to like leave it for the summer until it flowers. Leave it to grow out, because it grew off of... You can see some of them. Let's see. See, you can get focused in on some of them here. It's hard to focus on something in here. Okay. There. If you look at the end of that there, that's a flower. I mean, they're not the most spectacular flowers. Let's see if there's some on the end here. Yeah, here's... See if I can get this focused here. But they're still neat. There you can see it. They come out in a long chain of flowers. They're pretty neat. I see them in a couple spots coming out. I had one that was fully open. There's none open. There's a couple getting ready to open, but that's about it. Okay, back here. This is my Jacqueline Hillier elm that I did a video on back a few weeks ago. Maybe a month ago, something like that. But as you can see, I was hoping it would back bud on all those dormant buds that didn't come out in the spring when I trimmed it back, and it has. I think everything, just about all of them have back budded. So I'm going to probably work on this again, just to get rid of, not to get rid of a lot of it, let it grow still, but get rid of some of the excess buds that I don't need all of them. Just to get rid of some of them, because there's tons. It's just a big ball of foliage now, as you can see. So that's doing really good. What else we got? Well, here are the 2 Chinese elms. As you can see, the one with the thread grafts has just really, the 2 branches have just really exploded with foliage and branches and just everything. I'm still happy the top is not going out really quick. There's a few like this I might trim back a little bit, just to keep the top in check a little bit for now, because we don't want the top getting really big and thick and then the bottom not being thick enough. I would rather the bottom grow at this point. Then we have the Cascade one, which is just exploded, but that is what Chinese gnomes tend to do. They just grow and grow. During the growing season, they just grow. Well, I had these inside over the winter. They grew grew a lot during the winter. I trimmed them like I think twice during the winter, just to keep them in a state that I could keep them, or they just take over. And then you can see the top is growing. It's just sprouted out all kinds of stuff. And then this side shoot that I left to help thicken up the base of this new leader here, the new trunk that I built, is almost as tall as this now. I think in 2 months, I think I looked back, it's like been 2 months since this branch here was just a little tiny, maybe this tall. Off here, it was just a little tiny sprout at the base, and it's grown like a foot in 2 months. So these things grow like really great. Back there we got the Trident maple, which is doing great. Occasionally I get some of the new growth that gets too much sun and dries out occasionally. Most of them are doing good. And there's one here that's a little droopy. This is the Japanese maple that I never know how to pronounce. Starts with an S. It's doing really good too. I mean, I haven't had anything die off except for where it got eaten by something here. This one branch coming up, the leaves got eaten by something. But that happens. You can't control Mother Nature. They're going to do what they're going to do. And then we got the Korean hornbeam there, just kind of growing out. This thing's just a big ball of foliage too. A lot of the stuff that's just going nuts is I'm just letting it grow. I mean, the only reason that the sky flower didn't get cut back yet is because I'm still expecting a pot that I ordered, custom pot order that I got for it. I want to repot it and put it in that pot, and I've just been holding off clipping it. But I think for now on, I'm going to let it grow through the summer if I want the flowers, like here, to come out, because it seems like their own. I never had the flowers come out, but I've always kept it clipped back. So I think I just got to let it grow out, which with this tree doesn't seem to be a problem, just letting it grow and grow over the summer. And I think it might be a good thing for it. Maybe just let it grow over the summer, and then at the end of the summer clip it back. There are two of my boxwoods. These are a bunch of Katora. I think there's 8 of them. Katora maple, Japanese maples. Here is the base of that weeping willow. So it's got a nice big base. There's a lot of maple. See, we got maples out front of the. house, and all my trees get maples and maple seedlings in them. I just haven't taken them out yet. It's a red maple. One of these days I may keep a seedling and try bonsaiing it. I don't know. They're not as good for bonsai as like a Japanese maple because they just got really big leaves, but maybe. Here's my apple, which I'm just letting grow out this summer. So it's like about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet long, and still going out, just to kind of thicken it up. There's the Portugal Cariafras. They're doing good. They've bounced back. But they usually do that. I've had that all the time. They come in, they come in the house, they go dormant, and they lose a lot of their leaves. They do lose. I've had that every winter so far with these, is they just drop, like, I would say 50 to 60% of their leaves over the summer for me. Over the winter, I mean, for me, when they come in. And it's never seemed to really harm them. They just, like, they get out, once they get outside, they just bounce back and grow like crazy again. I mean, as you can see, this big one's back budded. There's the willow leaf ficus. This juniper here, I want to work on it, so I haven't bothered taking the weeds out, but I should probably do it. Oh yeah, I'll have to take them out another time. I'm pulling half the root base out with it. Okay, here's the back steps. This is where I keep stuff that I don't want to have in full sun out front. They get a less sun back here, and stuff that I'm transferring from the shade to the front, like the bougainvilleas I just brought. They're getting transferred. They're here temporarily. The Kingsville boxwoods are about ready to go back up. The wisteria is still back here, and then there's the larch, which has grown out great this summer so far. I mean, you can see the top here. The top here is, from there to there is all new growth this summer. And then the redwood is doing great back here. This was a really wise decision. I wish I had done it last year. I wouldn't have lost so many of those. I don't think I would have lost so many of those lower branches last year. I mean, I don't have anything drying out this year, and it's growing. It might not grow as quick back here, but I'd rather have it healthy and grow slower than to grow fast and just dry out and lose leaves and not be as healthy branches. We'll see how it does over the winter. Last winter lost a lot of branches, but I think it was not in good health because of losing all those branches and being dried out. But it does a lot better back here. And then I keep the larch here too, because larches don't like a lot of really hot sun and stuff. I mean, they prefer their soil a little more moist, and they don't need a lot of sun. And my summer is a little warmer than they like anyway, so the American larch. Okay, here we have my bench, my workbench, where I keep stuff that I want to keep in the shade for a while, like I get it repotted or it's new and I don't want to stress it out too quick. This is a Chinese elm that I bought when I bought some, what did I buy? I just bought some other maples. I went to a bonsai nursery in New Jersey. I usually I made a trip. I don't think I went there last year. I went there 2 years ago in the fall, and that's when I picked up the willow leaf ficus. I picked it up from him in a pot that I want to put the willow leaf ficus. I ended up deciding to put it in, but it's got to be, the root system's got to be reduced some. But anyways, this was I liked this one out of the best of the ones he had, even though it was like a sucker off of another tree that was in the pot that had died off. And I had a feeling that it wouldn't have the greatest root system on it, and it didn't, on the self. But I ended up repotting it, cutting it off, and just hoping it would, figuring I'd baby it, keep it in the shade, keep it moist, and hopefully it would do good. And it looks like it's going to do all right because I've already seen it's already budding out. I cut it back some and it's already putting out new buds, so that's a really good sign. And this was something I did pot it out of season, but I did take as much care with it as I could. I just wanted to get it started on growing a root system because I just figured if it stayed hooked to the root system it had, which I didn't want, it was going to take longer and may not develop roots off the other thing. It had a few roots, so that's the only reason I cut it off. I wouldn't have cut it off if it didn't have roots, but it had some roots, so it looks like it's doing all right. Here are some larches. Some of them might have died. I got them. They were like dormant, and they came dormant, and I put them in pots. Some of them, I don't know. Some of them haven't done so great. Some of them haven't. I don't think I'm ever going to try buying the dormant ones that are in the off season again. I didn't have any luck with them. I'm going to try to grab some. I think next spring. I'm going to get some ordered as soon as the place I want to get them from has ordering up for spring. Back behind them are the green leaf maples I bought to go with the larches when I want to make a group planting with larches and maples. And I figured the green leaf Japanese maple would be pretty close to a red maple, big red maple, which would be common to see with a larch in the American larch where they grow. So, because they'll turn reddish orange like the red maple will, and they're a green leaf, so they're pretty close. The leaf structure is different. The shape is a little different on the leaf, but I wanted something that had small leaves to go with the larches that I'm going to keep smaller, and then here is the yew. The yew seems to be doing all right. This branch that was partially dead has all died off, which I figured was going to happen. This branch over here looks like it's going to die off. On the end, these two branches here, they look like they're going to. They look like they're going to die. They have a little bit of green left on them, but they don't look good. This one looks good at the top. This one looks like it has really good foliage, needles. This looks like it has good needles. This one it has some good needles and has a lot of bad needles. So that one's touch and go. And then this small one, which is the one I'm most interested in anyways, is doing just fine. So I think this tree will pull through just fine as long as it survives the winter. I think it'll be fine. It wasn't being in the soil. It wasn't exactly the healthiest of trees to start with, so there was always a risk that it might not do so good, but it seems to be doing a lot better now that it's in some good soil, bonsai soil. And like I said, I removed all the soil just because I knew it was really heavy clay, so I removed all the soil and I didn't really touch the roots, so we'll see. Because I'm thinking a lot of this top stuff is going to be like dead gins, and I'm going to make it look like it's just an old tree that parts of the top died off, and I just build it from that. I've seen trees like that. I've seen bonsai like that, and I like that. So we'll see what we do with that. That's a couple years off to even I think start styling it really. I think I may work on some of the gins before then, but if I've decided what gins I'm going to keep, what branches I'm going to keep as gins, and how long, I might take care of them. But okay, it's probably longer than I wanted it, but if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and see you next time.